Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I will be showing you how to install Python on a Windows 10 computer. This is the official Python website. So if we go to the Downloads tab, we can see that as of the time I am recording this video, the current version is Python 3.9.0. You can download and install Python directly from this Python website. However, there is a more cleaner way to install Python as an app using the Microsoft Store. All right, so you can go to Microsoft Store. That is how I'm going to install it in this video. This is a cleaner way to install Python. It handles auto updates and can be uninstalled easily. It does not update the path variable in a way that breaks other application. To begin, let's check that our Windows 10 system is fully up to date. So to do that, you click on the Start button here and click on this icon, which is the Settings tab. It will take you to the Settings menu. So from the Settings menu, select Update and Security. And if your system is up to date, it will tell you. As you can see, mine says I am up to date. So make sure your system is fully up to date. If it's not, you can check for updates and then run any updates that are available. Next, let's go to the Microsoft Store. So in the search bar on the bottom here, just type in Store and it will bring up Microsoft Store. So click on the Microsoft Store. When the Microsoft Store launches, click on the search bar here, and in the search bar, just type in Python. Once you've typed in Python in the search bar, just press enter, and that will show you a list of Python available. So we are going to go for this one, which is Python 3.9. You can see it is free, so I'm going to click on it. You will then see the install button. So click on the install button to begin. You need to sign in if you've got a Microsoft account. So make sure you sign in with your email. Once you have signed in, you can see the download has started. When the installation is completed, you get this message that says this product is installed, and it'll ask you if you want to pin it to the start. So if you want to pin it to the start of your programs, you can do that. Okay, so I'm just going to exit this interface. To check Python has been installed, if you click on your start menu, and you can see we've got Python here listed. Okay, so that indicates that Python has been installed on your system. So that's it for this video. In this video, I showed you how to install Python on a Windows 10 computer. Thank you for watching. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to Django URL. In Django, a URL, which is also referred to as a Uniform Resource Locator, is a string that specifies the web address of a particular page or view in a Django web application. The URLs are used to route incoming requests to the appropriate view function or class-based view, which generates the appropriate response. In Django, the URL patterns are defined in the application's urls.py file, which is located in the Django app. When a user requests a particular URL, Django matches the requested URL to the appropriate pattern, and then it calls the associated view function or class-based view to generate the appropriate response. This is an illustration of what happens when a request is made to a Django application. So using a web browser, a HTTP request is made to the Django application, and that request is handled by the Django URLs, which is located in the urls.py file. It then forwards that request to the appropriate view to handle that request. The view then queries the database to see if there's any data that needs to be retrieved to go with that request. If it finds any data, it passes it to the template to handle that request. So the data, everything is passed to the template. The template now returns the result to the view. The view now returns the HTTP response back to the user's web browser, and the result of the request is then displayed in the user's web browser. URLs in Django are used to map incoming requests to the appropriate view function or class-based view, allowing users to navigate through the various pages and views of a Django web application. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add Bootstrap files to a Django project. The first thing we're going to do is to download the Bootstrap files from Bootstrap, and the link to download Bootstrap is displayed on the screen. We will also need a file compression software to extract the Bootstrap files that we're going to download. You can use WinRAR, which is a free file compression software, and the link to download WinRAR is displayed on the screen. Once you've downloaded WinRAR, you have to install it, and after it has been installed, you can use it to extract and compress any file. Another file compression software that you can use is WinZip, and you can download WinZip from the link displayed. It gives you the option to try it out before you can use, so you can download a trial version. This is the Bootstrap official website. So I'm going to download Bootstrap. So I'm just going to scroll down, and there is an option for download. So I'm going to click download. The download page gives you different options to download, and the one I'm going to download is the compiled CSS and JavaScript. So I'm going to click on this download button, and that will download the compiled CSS and JavaScript. So it has started the download on the bottom left hand corner of my screen. I've downloaded my Bootstrap into a directory I created on my desktop called BS standing for Bootstrap. So I'm going to click to open it. So this is the compressed file that has been downloaded from Bootstrap website. So I need to extract this, and I'm going to use WinRAR to extract the content. So you can see the icon here, that is the WinRAR icon. I've already got it installed. So I'm going to right click and then select extract here, and it will extract the content into the same directory. So this is the extracted folder. So I'm going to open it up. So the folder contains a CSS directory and a JavaScript directory. So what I need to do, I need to create two directories in my static directory. One is going to be called CSS and one is going to be called JavaScript. So I'm going to open up my project directory. So I'm going to double click to launch it. Inside my project directory, I've got my static directory. So I'm going to open up my static directory. Inside my static directory, I'm going to create two subdirectories. One is going to be called CSS. The other is going to be called JS. So to create a directory, I'm just going to right click and select new and click on folder. I'm just going to call this CSS. I'm going to create another directory. So I'll right click, select new folder. I'm going to call this JS. So I've created a subdirectory in my static directory. So now I'm going to open up the downloaded Bootstrap files. So I click on the CSS folder first on the left here. There are several Bootstrap files inside this Bootstrap CSS directory. So the one I want to use is going to be this Bootstrap domain. So I'm going to right click and copy that, and then open my CSS directory inside my static directory and paste that into it. I can always come back to this CSS directory and add any CSS files I want to use for my project. But for now, I'm just going to only add the bootstrap.min. Next, I'm going to add a JavaScript file. So on the left here, I'll click on the JS folder. Next, I'm going to select a JavaScript file to add to my JS directory in my static directory. So the file I'm going to add is this one that says bootstrap.bundle.main. So I'm going to right click, copy that, open my JS folder, right click and paste that in there. So I've copied across the bootstrap.bundle.main file from the downloaded JavaScript files. If I need to add more JavaScript files, I can come back to this downloaded Bootstrap directory and just add any file that I want to use in my project. Now that I've downloaded the Bootstrap files into my static directory, I will be able to link to them in my Django templates when I create the templates. Thanks for watching. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to create some Django template files. I have an illustration here of the template directory structure. Django looks for your template files, which are HTML files, inside the templates directory of your Django app. So I'm going to create a templates directory inside my Django app. And then inside that templates directory, I'm going to create a base.html template and a home.html template. Inside the templates directory, I'm going to create 3 subdirectory. I'm going to create a subdirectory called cases. And inside that directory, I'm going to create 3 template files. The case underscore confirm underscore delete.html, the case underscore form.html, and the case underscore list.html. I've already defined these templates inside my Django view, so I now have to create the templates for the view to use. I'm also going to create a directory in the templates directory called clients, and then I'm going to add these 3 HTML files, which I've already defined in my Django views. I'm going to do the same with a directory I'm going to create called lawyers, and I'm going to add these 3 files, which I also have defined in my Django views. I'm going to create a new directory inside my Django app called templates. My Django app is called cases. I'm going to right click, select new folder. I'm going to call the folder templates. So I've called the folder templates. I'm going to press enter, and we can see this is the new directory I've created called templates inside my Django app. Now inside this templates directory, I'm going to create 2 HTML files. The first HTML file I'm going to create inside the templates directory is going to be called a base HTML. So I'm going to right click on the templates directory, select new file, and I'm going to call this base.html. So I've called this file base.html. I'm going to press enter. The next file I'm going to add to this templates directory is going to be the home.html. So I'm going to right click on the templates directory, select new file, and I'm going to call it home.html. So I'm going to press enter. So notice that these 2 files I've just created are in the root of the templates directory. This is my project directory. So if I open up the cases directory, which is my Django app, we should see the templates directory I've just created. So if I open up the templates directory, we should have 2 template files. We have the base.html and the home.html. Inside this templates directory, I'm going to add 3 subdirectories. The first subdirectory I'm going to create inside this templates directory is going to be called cases. So I'm going to right click, select new, and then folder, and I'm going to call this cases. So I've called this folder cases. I'm going to add 2 more folders. So I've created 3 subdirectory called cases, clients, and lawyers. And I'm going to add HTML files inside each of these subdirectories. The HTML files I'm going to add inside this directory are HTML that I defined inside my Django views. So this is the structure of the templates directory. So I've already created the templates directory, the base.html, the home.html. I've created the 3 subdirectory, one called cases, clients, and lawyers. Inside each of the subdirectory, I'm going to add 3 HTML files. I have now created the empty template files. So if I open up the first subdirectory, which is cases, we can see the 3 template files I've created. If I open up the clients directory, we can see the 3 template files there for the client directory. And if I open up the lawyers directory, we can see the 3 template files I've created for the lawyers subdirectory. So make sure your template directory structure is exactly the way I've specified in this illustration. The templates I've created are all empty templates at the moment. In subsequent videos, I will populate each of the templates. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be populating the home template. So I'm going to click on the home.html file. This is the empty home template. So if I visit the Django application now, the home page will be blank. This is how the home page template looks at the moment when you try to launch the application. This is because I have not populated the template. I'm going to extend the base template into the home.html template. On line number 1, I'm using the extends tag at the beginning of the template to indicate that it is extending the base.html template. I've added the block content template tags that will be used to override the content block of the base.html template. The content block defined inside this home.html template will replace the content block in the base template. Inside the content block, I've added a div element that has a class of Jumbotron. Jumbotron basically is a bootstrap component that is used to create a large call out section that showcases a key message or content on a web page. Inside the div on line number 6, I've added an h1 element, and inside that h1 element, I've added a class called display-4. Display-4 is a bootstrap class that is used to set the font size and the weight of a heading element to a larger and bolder style. I've added a paragraph tag to the div on line number 7. Inside the paragraph tag, I've included a class called lead. The lead class is basically used to set the font size and the line height of the text to make it larger and more spacious than the normal body text. This basically helps create a visual contrast between the lead paragraph and the rest of the content. The text that will appear in the paragraph is this text I've specified here. This is a simple law firm management system built with Django. I've added an HR element into this div on line number 8. The HR element is used to create a horizontal line separator. Inside the HR element on line 8, I've got a class called my-4. This is a bootstrap class that is used to set the margin spacing around the element. I've added another paragraph tag on line number 9. I've added some anchor tags from line number 10 to line number 12, and this is going to be used to create links. The btn-primary basically is going to be used to set a background color of blue to the button. The class called btn-lg is a bootstrap class that is used to set the size of a button to a large size. On line number 10, I have the href attribute, which is used to specify the source of the link. So I'm using the Django template tag here, and I'm using the URL resolver to resolve the specified URL. So when the button is clicked, this is the URL that it will direct the user to. So what the URL resolver will do when the button is clicked, it will go to the view. The name of the view is called client_list, and that's located in the cases app. On line number 10, I've also got another attribute called role, and this role has been set to button. The text that will be displayed on the button is going to be view clients. The same implementation applies to the code on line number 11 and line number 12. So I'm going to click to save all the changes I've made to this template. I'm going to refresh my blank home page. So if I refresh it, it should now show the template. The navigation and the footer element are extended from the base template, while the main content is from the home template. So that's it for this video. In this video, I populated the home.html template. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be installing the Django Widget Tweaks package. What is Django Widget Tweaks? Django Widget Tweaks is used to render the form fields in a template. This allows you to adjust the properties of the form, such as the methods and the CSS classes, on the back end without rewriting the template. It can be used to customize the form fields. It can also help us to apply the bootstrap classes in each of the fields within the form. I'm going to install the Django Widget Tweaks inside my virtual environment. I already have my virtual environment activated. I've added the command that will be used to install the Django Widget Tweaks. It is pip space install space Django -widget -tweaks. So I'm going to press the enter key on my keyboard, and that will start downloading and installing the package. The package has been successfully installed. Next, we need to register the package inside the settings.py file of the Django project. I'm going to open up my settings.py file inside my Django project. So this is the settings.py file. And within the settings.py file, we have a section called installed_apps. So I'm just going to tab down and I'm going to add an entry for the widget tweaks. I've now registered the widget tweaks inside the settings.py file of my Django project. Now that I have registered the package with the Django project, I will be able to use this in any of my templates. Thanks for watching. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be populating the case_confirm_delete template. This is going to be the template that the user will see when they click on the delete button to delete a case object. I'm going to select the case_confirm_delete template located in the cases directory within the templates directory. I've already prepared the code for this template, so I'm going to add the code on and then explain the code. I've added the code for this template. Most of the syntax and the tags used here, we have already used in other templates. On line number 3, I'm extending the base.html template. On line number 5, we have the opening content block. Inside the content block, on line number 6, we have a h2 heading tag. The text that will be displayed on the page will be delete case. Line number 7, I've added a paragraph tag that will be used to prompt a user if they are sure they want to delete the case. And then we have the Django template variable, and inside that we have the object.title. So the object will be the case title that you want to delete. So we display the name of the case title, that's about to be deleted and ask you, are you sure you want to delete the case? On line number 8, I've added a form tag, and in the opening form tag, I've got an attribute called method. The method attribute is set to post, which means that when the user submits the form, the data will be sent to the server using an HTTP post request. On line number 9 in the form, I've specified a CSRF_token. This is a Django template tag that is used to generate a hidden input field that includes a CSRF token. This is basically a security feature that helps protect against cross-site request forgery attacks. On line number 10, I've added a button element, and I've got a type attribute in the button element. So I'm specifying the type of button, and the value for the type attribute is submit. So the button on line number 10 is going to be a submit button. Inside the button, I have a class attribute, and I've set this to btn. btn is a bootstrap class which indicates button, and then btn-danger. btn-danger is going to give the button a background color of red. The button text is going to say yes, delete. Line number 11, I'm using the anchor tag, which is the A tag, to create a button link. Inside the anchor tag on line 11, I have the href attribute, which is used to specify the destination of the link. The text that will be displayed on the button is going to be cancel. So for example, if a user tries to delete a case and they decide they don't want to delete the case, they can click on the cancel button. Inside the anchor tag, I've specified a class attribute of btn space btn-secondary. btn basically is a bootstrap class. btn-secondary is used to set the background color of the button to gray. The destination URL for when the cancel button is clicked is going to take the user to the URL that says cases_list of the cases app. So when the cancel button is clicked, it will take the user back to the page where all the cases are listed. Line number 13 is the end of the content block. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be testing the app. During my initial test of the app, I noticed I made a couple of errors in the code. The first error was located in the client_form.html template. On line number 19 inside my code, I made a slight change in the value of the name attribute. So it was set to form.first_name. So make sure you have it set to form.last_name. If not, you will not be able to submit the data on your form. I also made the same error in the lawyer_form.html template. On line number 19 also here, I changed the value of the name attribute to say form.last_name. I have already added one client. So if you click on this view clients button, you should see that I have one client added. So I'm going to add another client so you can see how I did it. So I'm going to click add client, and I'm going to populate each of the fields here. I've added the values for each of the fields. Make sure that the values entered for the phone is within 15 characters. If it exceeds 15 characters, you will not be able to submit the form, because that is the maximum character limit I set for the database. To add the data to the database, I click on the save button, and you can see now I now have 2 clients. You also have the option to edit or delete the records that have been added. So if I wanted to edit a record, I'll click on the edit button here, and that gives me the update form. I think I've made an error here on the form title. It's got update, it's got add client. So I'm going to go to the form and try and fix that. Inside the client_form.html, I have the option for update and the option for add client. So I've moved the text around. So what this condition is checking, if I want to update a record, it will give me the option to update. If I'm going to add a new record, then it gives me the option to add a new client. So I'm going to save that and then take a look at the form. So I'm just going to refresh this page to see if that works. So you can see here it works. It now says update client. I'm also going to make the same change in the lawyer_form.html. So I'm going to click on the lawyer_form.html form, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to take out the add text, and I'm going to relocate it in between the else block and the end block. So what this modification would do, if I'm updating a record, it will give me update lawyer. And if I'm adding a new record, it will give me add lawyer. So I'm going to save the changes. So I've changed the phone number. I'm going to click save. And if we take a look, we can see here the phone number that I've just slightly modified. You can also delete a record by clicking on the delete button. If you're sure, you just click yes, delete. If not, cancel. So I'm going to cancel for now. And that takes me back to the client list. I'm going to add a new lawyer. So I'm going to click on the link for lawyers. I've added the information for a new lawyer. So I've added the value for the first name, the last name, the email address, and the phone number. So I'm going to click on the save button, and that will add that lawyer to the database. So you can see now, I now have one lawyer added to the lawyers list. I can also edit and can also delete if I wanted to. Next, I'm going to add a new case. So I'm going to click on the cases link here. I've given the case a title. I've also added a description for the case. And then for the client, since I've already got a list of clients, I just click on the drop down. You can see that I have 2 clients listed. I'm going to select Rick Williams. I'm also going to select a lawyer from my lawyer list. I've got one lawyer. So I select that guy, and then the status of the case. So it can have a status of open, closed, or pending. So I'm going to select open, and this is the description for the case. And I'm going to click on the save button, and that will save that case. So you can see I now have one case opened. I can also edit the case. If I click on the edit button, it gives the information of the case. I need to make some amendment to the title here. So I need to go into the template. Inside the case_form.html template, I need to relocate the add text and relocate it in between the else and the end if. So I've relocated this text that says add. So depending on the condition, it will give me the relevant title for the form. If I'm updating a record, it will give me the text that says update case. If I'm adding a new case, it will give me the text add case. So I'm going to save the changes to this template. I'm going to refresh this page, and we can see it has now changed the title. It's now saying update case. So I've got all the details of the case. So if I wanted to make any changes, I can just make the change and then save the changes. So I'm going to cancel out of this for now. I'm going to add a few more clients, some lawyers, and some cases. I've added some clients, some lawyers, and some cases. So if we click on the view clients, we can see all the clients that I have added. And then if we click on the lawyers, we can see the lawyers that I've added. If I click on cases, these are all the cases that I have added on. So that's it for this video. In this video, I tested the application. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be showing you how to interact with your Django app from the Django admin site. You can access your Django admin site on your local machine by visiting the link displayed on the screen. Before you can interact with your Django application from your Django admin site, it's always a good idea to register your Django models inside the admin.py file. That way you will have access to your Django models and you can interact with the web application via the admin site. So I'm going to open up the admin.py file. So I'm going to expand the cases app, which is my Django app directory, and inside that there is a file called admin.py. So this is basically for the Django admin site. So in order to interact with the Django app from the admin site, I need to register my models. So I have 3 models, which is the client, the case, and the lawyer. So first of all, I need to import them. I've imported my 3 models on line number 2 here. So the models are client, case, and lawyer. The next thing I need to do is to register the models with the admin site. So I'm just going to tab down and then register each of the models here. I've added the code that will register each of the 3 models on my admin site. So this is the code on line number 8, line number 10, and line number 12. So I'm going to save the changes I've made to this file. So I click on file and then click save. Because I've made some changes to the admin.py file, I'm going to restart the Django server. So I've stopped the server and I'm going to restart it using the command python space manage.py space run server. I'm going to press enter and that will restart the Django web server. So my Django web server has started. I've typed in the admin site address in the address bar and that gives me the Django admin login screen. So I'm just going to enter my username, my password, and then I'm going to click to log in. I've now logged into my Django admin site. So from here, I can administer the application. We can see inside the Django admin under the cases app, I've got all my models. We've got the cases model, the clients, and also the lawyers model. So I'm going to add a new client into the clients model. So I'll click on add. That will give me the interface so I can add the information for a new client. I've entered the information to add a new client. So I'm going to click on the save option here on the far right, and that will add the new client. You can see I get a message saying the client Anthony Edwards was added successfully. So you can see all the clients I now have. You can see the one I've just added is at the top, which is Anthony Edwards. You can do the same for lawyers. If you want to add a new lawyer, just click on add. That gives you the interface. You can just enter the details to add a new lawyer. Also, if you want to add a new case, you click on the add next to the cases model, and that gives you the form. So you can also enter the information to add a new case. You also have the option to modify or delete information from the Django admin site. So for example, if I click on my clients list and if I wanted to make a change to a client, let's say this one called Anthony Edwards, I can check that and I can just click on it and it gives me the form where I can make changes. So I can either delete this information and I can also edit the information. Let's say the phone number was wrong. I can just change it. So if I want to change it, the last digit from 1 to 2, I can do that and just click on save and it will save that information. Interacting with the admin site is mainly for the Django administrators. So from there, they can interact with the application. The users of your application should not have access to your Django admin site. I'm going to click on the home tab. Inside the Django admin dashboard on the right, we have a recent actions, which shows all the actions I've performed recently. You can also check the history on an action you perform. For example, the action here, Anthony Edwards, where I made a slight update. If I click on that, it gives me the change client form. So I can click on this history button on the top right here. The change history gives me information of the person who performed the actions. So it gives you the date here, and the user who performed some action is called Rick, and the action they performed, they added a new client. Also gives you a date here and the time where the user called Rick made some changes, and it tells you what I changed. I changed the digit on the phone number. From the Django admin site, you can also see the list of users you have. So if I click users, it shows me all the users I have, and you have an option to add a new user. So if I wanted to add someone to the Django admin, you click on add and you just enter the information for the new user. On the far right on the Django administration navigation, we have a link to view the site. So if I click on view site, it takes me to the site. So if I click on view client, I can see the client I just added on, which is Anthony Edwards. So you can see it listed on the bottom here. You also have an option to change your password. If you need to do so, just click on this link. To log out of the Django admin, there is a logout button. So I'm just going to click to log out, and that will log me out of the Django admin. So that's it for this video. In this video, I showed you how to interact with your Django application from the Django admin site. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.